This is lesson 6.3, Similarity Criteria. In this video, what we're going to talk about is ways to prove triangles are similar. So keep in mind that when we talk about ways to prove something, you're going to end up writing a proof, and these are going to be the postulates and theorems that you'll be using. Okay, so for the first postulate or the first theorem, postulate, theorem, pretty much the same thing. It's the angle. So what does that mean? Angle, similarity postulate. Maybe this is a little bit too bright. Let me undo that. Sorry about that. All right, so it states that if two triangles, I added in that if two triangles have two congruent corresponding angles, then triangles are similar. So in the case of this first set of triangles, so triangle JKL and triangle XYZ, their corresponding angles are congruent. So angle K is congruent to angle Y, and angle J is congruent to angle X. So therefore, we can say that these two triangles are not congruent. They are similar. There's enough proof, there's enough evidence there to prove that they are similar. How would you write a similarity statement? To write it correctly, and you will be graded on that moving forward, is you're going to, of course, make sure that the order, or rather the orientation of the points match the corresponding parts, meaning angle J in the first triangle corresponds with angle X. So I'm going to start my congruent statement, J here, X here. Then these two are corresponding, right? Because they have congruent angles. Their angles are congruent to each other. So that's going to be the next letter. And in the second triangle, Y is going to be the second letter. And of course, the last letter here is L. And the last letter here is Z. So the similarity statement would be JKL is similar to XYZ. Writing the similarity statement is just as important as proving whether or not the triangles are similar. Okay, so keep that in mind going forward. The next similarity theorem or postulate is the side similarity theorem, which states that if two triangles have three pairs of corresponding sides that are proportional, then triangles are similar. So what you've been doing, what we've been doing is identifying the scale factor or setting up a proportion to find a missing side. Now, in some cases, of course, you're not going to know for a fact, or you're not going to be able to assume that the triangles are similar. So you would have to prove that they're similar by identifying whether the scale factors are the same for the corresponding sides. For example, AB, whatever the length of AB is, needs to be proportional to RS. So let's say AB is 4 units in length, RS is 2. That means the scale factor is 2. And so what would have to happen is that same scale factor has to apply to AC, RT, as well as BC and ST. You can't have different scale factors for each side. That means that they're not proportional, meaning they're not similar. These are not similar triangles. So your scale factor has to be the same across the board. Whatever number I divide AB into RS should give me that the quotient should be the same for the division I do for AC, RT, and BC and ST. Or TS, okay? So all three sides have to be proportional for triangles to be similar. And again, writing the similarity statement is just as important as writing proving that you have three sets of proportional sides. So the similarity statement here would be, and excuse me, there's a shadow over the work. It would be ABC, right? So AB is the first side in green, then from B to C, right? So triangle, and I actually need to put these triangles here, excuse me, in that first one. I'm going to do that here as well. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle RST. All right, finally, the third theorem or postulate, which I should have written up here, is the SAS, or side angle side similarity postulate or theorem. I'll write theorem. They said if two triangles have two pairs of proportional sides and congruent included angles, then the triangles are similar. So again, what that means is if there are two sides of corresponding sides, two pairs of corresponding sides that have the same scale factor, then you have almost enough criteria to prove that they're similar. What would need to happen is that you would also need to have a set of congruent angles. So if you have two sets of proportional sides as opposed to three, so let's say these have a different scale factor than these two sets of sides, but you have a set of congruent angles, then you have enough information to prove by side angle side that the two triangles are proportional. And writing the similarity statement would look like, right, we know that X corresponds with M. So that's your first letter. So triangle X, and then these two sides are congruent, or rather proportional. X, Z, Y, M, P, N. All right. You are expected to complete the try it out. I will be posting a part 2 video to this going over the try it out. Try it yourself first before watching the video. Use the video to help correct whatever misconceptions you may have had.